We're going over to the Netherlands, so I'll leave you in South Africa, and we'll be back. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Hello, Netherlands.
Hello, hello, how are you? I'm going to show you the whole group.
Hello.
Everybody.
Well, this is amazing. We've been to Pakistan.
You're having a great...
Hey, we've been to South Africa, so welcome.
Yes. Well, can we start with our meetup? With our... okay. Well, I will introduce to you all. This next to me is Saskia Harkema. And I'm Janneke NIjboer. I'm a priest, and Saskia is a doctor. And Saskia wrote a really important book about, sorry, I have to slow down. But we only have a quarter of the time. So Saskia wrote a very important book about, and she gives us an insight in the lives of freedom fighters from Syria. So Saskia, can you please, you told us one story about Abdelkader, it was really impressive. Can you share one story, in English maybe, to the world?
Okay. I want to first start by telling that I met Syrian freedom fighters, as I call them, in 2014. And since then, they've been part of my life, an important part of my life. And we're sitting here with Abdelkader, Taim, Talal, and their friends. One of the stories that is part of my book is the story of Abdelkader. I will show, he's there. Oh. Yeah, so we met in February 2014, and yeah, one of the things that really struck me was that he said that he was prepared to give up his life for freedom. While he was so young, and so initially he stayed in Syria with the intention to stay there, and that's one of the reasons that I chose as the title for my book, "Stay or Leave," because this is a recurring question that I think most Syrians have. That of course there's this longing to stay in the country which you love, and the country where your roots are and where everything that is important is, while you also want to stay alive, and you also want to keep this belief in freedom and democracy in your country alive. So we started WhatsApping while he was in Aleppo in Syria and I was in Holland. And I must say that I never had thought that you could WhatsApp and Skype in war. So it was a very strange situation. We often did that at night. And so I was sitting in my living room in darkness to kind of create a very intimate atmosphere. And then we were talking with each other. And often I could hear the bombs falling in the back. And then I asked Abdelkader, "Oh, but isn't that very dangerous?" And then he said, no, don't worry. It's very far away. So I thought, okay. So somehow war becomes part of your life, because life goes on. So, well, and he set up a wonderful school with children, 2,000 children, and he was head of a local council. And but there was a moment, I remember that vividly. He sent me a message and he said, Saskia, I'm so frightened. And I was really frightened too. And he said, it's a tapestry of bombs falling. It just doesn't stop. It's just like rain, bomb, bomb. And I said, you have to get out of there. You shouldn't give up your life for this war that you can never win. And it was a huge dilemma for him. So initially he went back and forth between Turkey and Syria, really torn, like many people are probably torn, that somehow you don't want to leave, but you know that you have to leave. And well, he was invited for a wonderful program in the US, which was a fantastic opportunity for a leadership program. And then he went to Montana. I don't know if you've ever visited the US, Montana, but it was so funny because we also had contact while he was in Montana. And I said, how is it in Montana? He said, well, it's really cold here and it's very empty. And I realized it must be so strange to be from Aleppo in Montana. And it shows also the resilience of I think Abdelkader, but many freedom fighters. And but his choice to go to the US, his choice to go to the US, of course, had a consequence. Not too high.
Yeah.
His choice to go to the US had a consequence because from that moment he became a target from ES, and not only that, also the government. So he came back through Amsterdam, and he had 4 hours stopover. And I knew that this was a very difficult situation for him. And I also was very aware that it always would have to be his choice. It always has to be your own choice, whether it's Talal's choice or Taim's choice. We cannot say for them, oh, come here, you have to be safe. So he spent those 4 hours there in Amsterdam, but well, his brother called him and said, well, if you come back, they will kill you immediately or you will be captured. And so he decided to stay. And it was in those 4 hours we were constantly talking. And really the question which kept coming back, he didn't say it, shall I stay or shall I go? And then he, just before his plane, because left for Istanbul, he said, Saskia, I'm going to ask asylum. And I remember, and I'm still emotional about it, that I thought I would be happy for him because I thought he's free now, but I realized that this freedom comes with a sense of loss. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we don't understand enough, that having to leave your country because of war is very, very difficult. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you asked on Facebook yesterday, can a heart be broken?
Yeah.
And I think a heart can be broken by things like this. It is terrible to leave your people, your family, your house. But it also inspires you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, in your own life, and you want to give us something about it or learn something, and that has to do with compassion, because you see, you hear the stories that compassion is a motor, a catalyst for change. Yeah. A catalyst for change. Can you explain something about this?
Yes. What I realized with being so close to Abdelkader, Taim, and all the Syrians that I've met throughout the years, that you have to strip yourself basically of all the things that keep you away from yourself, because I cannot ask Abdelkader, how's your house, how was your family, how was your holiday, or I cannot. So you have to kind of get rid of all the layers that keep you away from yourself, and meet from heart to heart. And I have learned so much from Syrians. It had been so enriching, because they have shown me that if you, in a sense, have lost everything, which you have in actual fact, they've lost their home, they've lost their house, but they haven't lost what is the essence of our humanity, and their generosity, also their compassion. I remember when my father was ill, and I told Abdelkader, Taim, and they immediately wanted to cook for him, take care of him, massage him, and it was visit him. And this is what, for me, compassion is about. That we really act upon our humanity and don't think, oh, what shall we think? What shall this father think about the fact, because they don't know me? They just give from the heart. So yeah.
And I see Syrians who can understand English not. So you agree with Saskia. When you lose everything, humanity stands up in you. And there's nothing other things.
It differs, like based on any individual, how the individual sees life and how you interact with it. So I think, it depends on it.
It depends on, yes, but because not every Syrian will do what you did.
You can't generalize it.
No. But it's really inspiring to meet people like this, and it learns something about yourself as well. So we need the other to learn about ourselves as well.
Absolutely.
I don't know how many time we have, but I really would like to show the people one of the paintings of Tahim. Can I pick one?
Yeah.
Yes, and show.
Yes.
Can you give me that picture with the blossom, please? I really would like to show this on camera.
Yes. Sit here, please.
Yeah. Please sit. Yes, please. Yes.
Camera.
Yeah, the camera is good.
Nice.
Here's the painter sitting next to me, and I'm going to show you the painting. And have a really good look at it. It's rather big, and I will zoom in by walking, and you will see there is blossom in the air, but there's also destruction. When you see it, the houses are destructed, and there are people there, but you also see the flowers.
Yeah. For new life.
Okay, I will take the camera. Thank you for showing. I heard you tell that the flowers mean future, mean hope. Am I correct?
ساعدني.
Yes. So the flowers and the blossom, it's about hope for the future. So you have hope for Syria as well. Yes. And is that what motivates you to make these paintings? Why do you make these paintings? Can you please answer?
بشكل عام انت الازهار عم تعطيك دافع انك ترسم، شو الشغلات اللي بتعطيك دافع ترسم وتعبر عن حالك؟
هي نظرة للمستقبل الجميل. نظرة للمستقبل الجميل، نحن نتفائل انه الايام الجاية احسن من اللي راحت. ما معقول نضل نحن بالحرب، يعني الحرب شغلته طويلة، ونتمنى كلياتنا انه تخلص الحرب بالدنيا كلياتها، ما بس عنا.
We will translate if it comes.
I think he is optimistic of the future. He wants to build a new future for him. His flowers is, I think it's more thing about what he wants the new future for him.
There is a new future for Syria, and he believes deeply in it.
Yes.
Yes. So I think it's really a very hopeful a message for us and to share with the world. And maybe I can conclude this session now. I don't know how much time we have, but I hope this interaction will motivate you to live a compassionate life, because I think it will makes our network between the people all over the world much better, and that we try to understand what is going on in places where there is suffering and war. But we remain with the hope, and we are going to build a new future. And I think compassion, and Saskia is agreeing with me, compassion is really an important catalyst. Yeah? So. Thank you.
Can you understand me? Can the others understand?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, we've had the issues around the refugees. We've had it addressed by several people. It was Alice in the UK. Saskia knows her very well. And she's a refugee herself, comes from Zimbabwe, had to leave her kids even, and had to go on her own to the UK, and her kids were not allowed, didn't get a visa, and in the end she said, the only thing I wanted was to have a home again, to be accepted and to have my kids, and to build to build that new future. And she really called on everyone to listen to each other, to hear the stories, and to support them to build that new future in a new country. And Ineke Hurkmans, she just had a presentation about the new company that she built actually here in the Netherlands to help people to get their jobs. And she's doing really an amazing job in Eindhoven here in the Netherlands. And it is about creating that new home. And Alice had a poem, Home, and I'm going to ask her to forward it, because that was really, it really told a lot about, what is it that you want and what is it that you're looking for. So
wow,
amazing. Well, thank you very much,
yes,
ladies.
thank you very much, and also for painting.
Yeah,
for showing
yes.
us.
Painting, yes. Well, we wish all the participants of this Female Wave of Change celebration all the best, and keep hope alive.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.